Hey everybody, welcome to Standing Out episode 211. I am Trey Griggs and so excited that you're with us today. Hope you had a wonderful President's Day yesterday, maybe a 3-day weekend, 2.5-day weekend, who knows? Maybe you got on the golf course if it's nice. Maybe you watched a little Tiger Woods teeing it up this week on the PGA Tour. Whatever you did, I hope you had a great weekend out there. And we're excited that you're with us today. We got a great week of shows this week. Today we got my good friend Brendon Wilson on the show. We're going to bring him on in just a minute. On Thursday, going to have another awesome episode with Sonny Catlett of WLX out of Kansas City. So a lot of good things coming your way this week. So we're so excited that you're a part of what we're doing here today. And we're going to have a great time today. We're going to talk technology, specifically TMS technology. And so I'm so excited to bring onto the show my good friend out of Chattanooga. Everybody give it up for Brendon Wilson, co-owner and partner of EZLoader TMS. What's up, Sonny? What's up? How you doing, Brendon? I said Sonny.
Good. You doing all right?
Sonny's all right. Sonny's Thursday. Where's the first show of the week, man?
Just call me whatever you want.
Whatever you want. Yeah, Birdie Machine is what we'll call you, man. Looks like you just got off the course there. You probably knocked in a couple birdies today on the holes you played. Good to see you, my friend. How's everything going?
Good. All good. Yeah, I played a few. I got out and walked a couple holes earlier, so a little lunch break.
Yep, can't beat it. This is a nice thing to do on the lunch break. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what's going on over at EZLoader real quick.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having me on the show. 2008, myself and one other guy, my best friend from college, I played golf at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, and Stephen Smith and I met there, became just best friends. And it's an interesting story. I played golf after college a little bit. I did some mini tour stuff down in Florida and I did okay, played a couple of years and then went to work after that. And I started selling copy machines for a company called RJ Young. And then it was funny. Steven was working for State Farm, and he didn't really like that. Long story short, I brought him over to RJ Young. We ended up working together there. And just because we just really, really solid friends. And, we're just headed to a meeting one day and just talking about what we wanted to do with our future, like long term. We were early 20s at that point, and just wanted to try to start a business on our own, but really didn't know what, and landed on freight brokering somehow with zero experience.
Why not? Let's give it a shot. And I have to go back to something you said earlier. It's like, I think of the mini tour profession of choice after trying to play golf has got to be selling copiers. I've heard so many golfers that say that's what they did. They got out and started selling copiers.
Yeah, everybody's doing it.
It's the pipeline. Right. Mini tour golf to copy machine sales.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was one of those things where we were both doing, well, but just didn't really want to do that for the rest of our lives, and got to talking to other people and ended up freight brokering. It was at the time it was a low startup cost, and
right.
That's what got us headed down that trail.
Well, I was going to ask, what was it about that really attracted you to it that said, yep, let's pull the trigger and make this happen? Was there something outside of just the low barrier to entry from a cost perspective? I mean, clearly not knowing anything about it, what was it that really drew you guys to that?
Similar to copier sales is knocking on doors and, just introducing yourself and trying to build a relationship and try to learn what their company's doing, and then, try to help them with their needs there. And that's just exactly what you do as a broker. And so that was intriguing to both of us. Like, okay, well, we know how to make cold calls, so like we can do this. And but the low startup cost helped. You just needed at the time it was a $10,000 bond. I believe that's all the way up to $75,000 now.
That's correct. So,
yeah. Copy machine and a phone, and so that was it. We that's what got us into it. Is just that we felt like we knew how to make the cold calls and start the relationships, and that's why we chose that, really.
And that's back to when you're faxing documents from time to time. Back in the day, going really far back to do that. It's funny because now I was just having lunch with a friend of mine who runs a brokerage, and he was talking about how the people on his floor don't want to make cold calls, don't want to make phone calls to carriers or other people. It's like easy times create soft people, and I think that's what we're seeing right now is kind of coming out of this. People don't have that grind of having to go door to door or make phone calls, cold calls, whatever it is. The market has definitely shifted. Things have changed quite a bit, and you've probably seen a lot of that from 2008 to now. You've seen quite a few ebbs and flows as the market does. So we're just in another one of those right now. All right, so let's fast forward a little bit. So you're in a freight brokerage. Did you sell it? Did you jump out of it? What did you guys decide to do with that? Because around 2020, the year that everything kind of blew up, you guys decided to make the decision to do something else.
Yeah, so we were happy. We were doing well. We had grown the business to right at 51 million, and we had roughly 45 brokers plus some back office people, and we really didn't have like an exit strategy. We just had not thought about it that far out. We were just kind of doing it and enjoying it, and we had gotten a bunch of our friends involved, and a couple of fraternity brothers who went and got a couple of their fraternity brothers, and so we had a really great atmosphere.
Bring the band back together.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. It's so 2020 comes along, and we had been approached by I don't know, 4 or 5 people, and we had just said no, we're not looking to sell, yada yada. But a company by the name of Fitzmart, Scott,
Scott
Fitzgerald.
I know Scott. Yep.
Yeah. He ended up reaching out and was pretty persistent with talking to Stephen and I, and we probably had 5 or 6 meetings and conversations that led to, okay, we'll entertain this, because the way they were set up was very similar to the way that we were set up, so it matched up well. And he was listening to all, like, if we ever were going to do this, we would want this, and I mean, I got to hand it to him. He listened and made all of that happen. So we ended up selling in 2020, and but
pre-COVID or during COVID?
Right. Ironically, we closed on March 15th.
Oh my gosh, that's the day pretty much. Like March 15th.
I mean, literally, like 2 weeks later, people were being sent home and things like that. It was crazy.
Wow.
I mean, I just can't believe that it happened like that. But so we ended up selling, and we stayed on a year. And Scott and them already had their own software, and we had actually developed, our own software along the way. 2012, we kind of started dabbling into, well, hey, let's just make a TMS that we like, that's easy. Our thing was something that was easy to train on, bring people in, get them ramped up quickly, and go about it that way. And so we started EZLoader, and it was really just for us. There was no intention of selling that. But as it worked out, Scott wanted to continue, because he already had, 200 people using his software. He didn't want to make that change, and it was working. It wasn't broken. So we ended up keeping the software. And so it's really been neat, because, we brokered. I mean, we sat in a chair. We have done everything that, brokers do. And so it was nice to be making a software that was more designed for the user and the broker with that in mind. And we still have that today. So it's been really neat.
You can honestly say built for brokers by brokers, because you guys are building it along the way. What a cool story. So you sell, you don't even plan to sell, but you end up selling, you get exit. And then you're sitting on a product that you can then turn right around and start right away. So what was the conversation of, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to sell this, and now we're going to jump in and start selling EZLoader? Was that right away? You said you were there for a year. Were you thinking about it, or when did that come out that you went that route?
Yeah, for Stephen and I, it was kind of like, well, I mean, what's our next? What are we going to do next? Still hungry, still wanting to, we love the industry. I mean, once you're in it, it's like the medical industry. Like, once you're in, you're not really getting out. You meet so many friends along the way and things like that. And so we just were like, wow, this works for us. And we basically have, 100 people on it, and it's working great. It's not breaking. Like, maybe we can just continue to make it better and better and better, and sell it to other brokers and try to help them and act more like a consultant along the way, versus just, hey, here's some software, use it, and that type of thing. So that's the reason that we started, getting it out there. So, and the product, we've really only been selling the product for 2 years, even though we started making it in 2013.
Yeah. I mean, it's a 10-year-old product, but only on the shelf for 2 years for sale.
Right.
It's an interesting story. It's a fascinating story to think about that. And I like what you said about truly being a consultant instead of just a software provider. I think we're seeing much more of that. And the technologies that seem to be winning these days are technologies that are either built by and or somehow influenced by people who have sat in that freight broker seat like you guys have. That seems to be a strategy that's really paying dividends right now for companies in the technology space. What do you enjoy more? Do you enjoy sitting with the brokerage and doing some consulting, or do you enjoy selling them software and helping them get set up on that? Or like, where do you find your joy in terms of what you're getting to do now?
I love talking shop on the brokerage side. I really enjoy talking about it. Everybody likes to talk about themselves, right? And you talk about the experiences and the things you've done and the fun and the ups and the downs and how you got through this and what you did when this happened. And, that's my passion right there is, and I love to help people. So, if I can get a customer that's willing to listen and try new software, but also like, hey, like if you ever need any help, I'm happy. I'm here. I'll be here for you, and I'm glad to talk to you and share successes and failures and things like that. And that's neat to me, to be able to just talk real, transparency. That's fun to me.
It's a nice value add to have that experience and have that expertise and be able to jump in and do that, I'm sure. And such a great story. It's just so cool, man. I love hearing your story about that. How many deals have been made on the golf course? Are you taking your sales tactics to the golf course? I mean, absolutely. For those that don't know, I have to say this. For those that don't know, Brendon is a killer golfer. What's your handicap? Are you a plus right now?
Yeah, I've got it to like a +3 right now. So
yeah, which is not good when you're playing other people because those other golfers, they sandbag. Look at Aaron Rodgers. He played as a 10 out of Pebble Beach. Can you believe that?
What a joke!
Dirty dog played as a 10.
Absolutely.
You kidding me? I know.
I'm sure he had to hear that from his friends. Like, dude, what are you doing?
Exactly. I mean, Josh Allen, I think, played less than that, and there's no way Josh Allen is better than Aaron Rodgers at golf. But it's pretty wild. That's true. So you're down to a +3, but yeah. So you're doing some deals on the golf course, using that to your advantage.
Yeah,
do you let customers win? I mean, or do you just beat them into oblivion and
No, the connection part of it and the fun part of it, and it's neat because you end up playing and then you start talking, what do you do? And things like that. And sometimes it heads down a path that you end up connecting later and things like that. So I really enjoy that. It's fun, but yeah, plenty of deals on the golf course. It's gotten really popular, way more popular than, I'm 45. And I mean, it was not popular back when I was 10, 11 years old. It was just not as strong as it is. Obviously we thank Tiger Woods for that, but
yeah, exactly.
So
I started playing in 94. And that was when Tiger was starting to make noise in his amateur career. I think he had won his 4th straight, his first regular, 3 juniors. So he was making some noise, but certainly it was nothing like it was, 5-10 years later. That's for sure. So
yeah, absolutely.
I know that you're a little bit younger than me, but same kind of thing. Like it didn't really get to become really cool till about probably early 2000s. It became a cool sport to play. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, I got to ask you this about TMS. This is a question I'm always curious about. Sure. The hardest part about TMS sales, I think, is convincing somebody to make that leap from an existing system to this because it's so painful. That transition from it's the foundation of your freight brokerage is your TMS. Everything is built pretty much on that. How have you been able to overcome that challenge? I'll call it a challenge. I don't think it's necessarily an objection because it really is a challenge. I think it's a legitimate challenge to go from one system to another. How have you guys been able to overcome that? What's been the best thing that you've realized in helping customers make that transition?
Sure. It's a great topic for discussion. And I remember when we went through it, we had a TMS early on that was basically just a glorified spread.
Off the shelf kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was very cheap. And, we, like everyone else in the industry, looked at McLeod and it was very expensive and robust. We didn't understand it, couldn't use it, just weren't even really smart enough to drive it. And so we didn't want to pay that and then fall on our face. So that's what headed us down the path of creating our own. But, I tell people this, it's on us to make it easy, we got to get your data and get it over into a new system. But typically what everybody will do is they'll keep their existing system for a short time and move over into the new system. And I just tell them, look, I've done it. I understand it's nerve-wracking. Like, I get it. I 100% understand exactly where you're at, but this will make you better if that's your goal, if that's what you want to do. And so we're extremely transparent. We just tell them exactly what's going to hurt and exactly what's going to be difficult and exactly what's going to be painful. And I think that helps a lot, because I think maybe other salespeople don't do that. They just want them to get the product
Well, especially if they haven't been through it like you have,
Yeah.
it's harder to really emphasize or empathize and understand kind of what that customer is going to be going through and be able to walk
Right.
them through that. There's another interesting question that's wrapped up in that. You guys chose to build. Some people choose to buy. There's always that argument, buy versus build. When you're talking to a freight broker who's thinking about maybe building their own system or buying, how do you navigate them through that as somebody who did build and now you're selling?
Sure. Hey, that's a really good topic. So I'll use the example of Sage Freight, company out of Nashville.
Oh yeah,
Doing very well.
Oh, did we lose him or did I freeze up? That's a good question. Well, we will hope that he makes it back here shortly and got a good answer about Sage Freight. We'll just remove him from the broadcast real quick and we'll bring him back in if we get him back on the show in just a minute. So good to talk to Brendon Wilson today from EZLoader. We were going to talk about Tiger Woods and how that went. But another topic of interesting conversation is around what's happening right now over at DAT. I saw this from Freight Caviar. They were talking about how carriers are basically stealing the identity of brokers or of other carriers and getting on the load boards and then double brokering freight, moving that direction. We're seeing a lot of stuff like that coming up. So we'll have to see where that goes. Speaking of Freight Caviar and Paul Bernard Jaroslawski, he's going to be on Word on the Street on Friday. So we've got a special edition of Word on the Street with probably the most interesting man in freight, certainly one of the most well-known, and that's Paul Bernard Jaroslawski of Freight Caviar. Going to be on Friday. And so that's coming up at noon Central on Friday. My good friend Matt Leff with Armchair Attorney is going to be hosting that episode. Also want to tell you about another thing that we are doing. So there's that about that. You see the street crew down there. Love those people. Another thing we're going to be doing coming up pretty soon is called The Edge. And I'm really excited about this because this is about showcasing the latest in logistics technology. It's basically a public sales demo. We get a chance to come and see the product. We're going to start off with my good friends over at Greenscreens.ai with Kevin Coombs, VP of Sales over there. That's going to be on Wednesday, March 1st. If you are a fan of green screens, if you're using green screens, or if you're thinking about using green screens, or if you hate green screens, it doesn't matter. Make sure you show up and check it out. Give us some questions. Throw some tough ones at Kevin during the demo. It's going to be a great time just to talk about what they're doing over there in terms of dynamic pricing with freight and moving that direction. So very excited about that, and hopefully it continues to go well. All right, everybody, please welcome back to the show our good friend Brendon Wilson, taking a little hiatus to give me a little chance to pitch The Edge and some other things that we're doing. Hey, buddy, what's up? Oh, are you there?
Sorry,
there you are.
Hey,
that's okay.
Yeah, it's funny. I apologize. They're building a new neighborhood right across the street from us, and every now and then they'll just knock the power out. And so, like, I didn't have my system set up to. Anyway, tech guy at home not being able to run his technology.
It's a good story, and it just took me right back to my my college days. I had a radio show in college where I had to fill time, and so stuff like that happens, and you just snap off and start talking about some other things. So glad that you're back. Let's finish that question. So you were talking about Sage, and particularly the buy versus build argument.
Sure, they found us and, knew some people that had done business with us on the brokerage side. And so they were more comfortable with dealing with us versus anyone else. And they told us right up front, like, hey, we want to build our own system. And that's what we want to do. Are you guys okay with doing business with us? And not necessarily sharing ideas. It wasn't like they were copying our system or anything like that, but they were just very upfront, like, hey, we're going to grow very fast. We really have a great plan in place, and we're locked and loaded. And I told them completely, absolutely, we completely understand that. That's great. I think you're smart for doing that. And anybody who it takes a lot of resources to build your own system, and everybody kind of knows that, but they planned on it on the front end, and but they've used us for a while, and they're just now kind of getting away from us and going to, to continue to start building their own system. So I think it's good. It's just one of those things, like help people as long as you can, and when they go a different direction, it's just the way it is.
Well, and certainly not only can you help them understand what it's going to take to build a system, but you can potentially help them with the questions they have along the way, which again, a long term might hurt you from a financial perspective, at least just from the subscription, but also long term helps you with goodwill and with other referrals they're going to send to you. It's just playing the long game. I think that's so valuable. I love what you said. help people as long as you can. And that's a great motto to live by. I love that, man. That's really cool.
Thanks.
All right, well, listen, we got to talk a little bit of golf. All right. Did you
Sure.
watch Tiger play Riviera this week?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. I watched his second round. He played well. I think 67 or whatever. I didn't catch the whole thing, but I watched a little bit of it. It's so interesting to see him now versus where he was, as a younger Tiger. It's just amazing, that I know that foot is just, it's got to be hard, like turning on that foot.
I don't know how he's doing it. Well, he talked about, I think he shot 69 in the second round, 68 in the final round. So he had some good rounds in the second and fourth round.
Yeah.
But he talked about how he can't push off anymore. So it's all just rotation, which means he's just working his core out and trying to rotate. And the fact that he has had all these different problems along the way, his back, his knees, now his foot, and has still figured out how to play golf at the highest level and shoot scores. I mean, who can walk off, from not playing any competitive rounds in 6 months with, half a leg and make the cut at a PGA at a premier PGA Tour event, not just a regular event, but an elevated event with the best talent on the tour. I continue to be just amazed at what he can do. I put nothing past the guy.
I agree. It really is amazing. I'm glad we're getting to watch it, in our lifetime. I mean, I can't wait to tell people stories about him,
Yeah, we're gonna be those old guys telling stories. They're gonna be like, "That didn't happen." We're like, "Nope, it happened." It happened. Yeah, exactly. I saw a stat today that said that if he only played 1999 and 2000, if those were the only 2 years that he played, he'd have 17 wins and 4 majors, which is like a career, like a career. And it was his first, some of his first years on tour, he had that run. So he's had some incredible runs, and the longer it goes, the more I'm happy that I was alive during this time when he lived. Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods. I mean, just some incredible athletes, some cool stuff.
Right.
So, some awesome things there.
Yeah.
Do you think he's going to contend in a major this year? Do you think he's got a shot?
I think the Masters. I just, I think he
even with the walk
mentally knows. Yeah. He mentally knows how to get around that golf course where some of the other players, in my opinion, struggle with, where to miss, and he just knows he knows how to read those greens. I mean, he's seen every putt on that golf course numerous times, he just loves it. It sets up well for him, but I think that will be the one that he contends in. If he does, I mean, that's fine, but I'd love to see him do it.
He said he's got, he said he can hit all the shots. And he said, I mean, obviously his mind is still very sharp, which are the two most important components. So it's just whether he can walk the course, I think, and not get too tired or hurt himself. And if he can do that, I think he definitely has a shot. So, we'll have to see what happens with that. I think the Open Championship might be a shot for him as well. But I don't know. We'll see. Because the Open Championship short, it's flat. I got a feeling about that.
So I can see that. I could see that. The walk at Augusta is going to be tough. People do not, unless you do, which, and crown or anything like that, or been to the tournament, you understand how undulated that golf course is. The television does a good job, but there's no way they can catch all those undulations. So, I hope he does well.
I've never been there, but I've heard the same thing, that it's pretty wild, the walk around Augusta. So we'll kind of see how that turns out. Okay, real quick, we've got a couple things we do for fun around here on the show. First of all, we like to celebrate the National Day. We had President's Day yesterday. Do you know what today's National Day is?
I do not.
It's always a fun surprise. Today's National Day is National Pancake Day, which is a good one. Are you a fan of pancakes?
Ooh,
and what kind of pancakes do you enjoy?
Chocolate chip or
or
pancakes with bananas on them.
Oh, banana pancakes. Okay. So I'm a chocolate chip blueberry on the regular. So like most of the year, chocolate chip blueberry is my go-to. But man, I'll tell you, when October rolls around, those pumpkin pancakes are something else. So that's my thing. I can never get enough of pumpkin pancakes. Yeah. So
good call.
I'm a chocolate chip blueberry and then pumpkin. I'll tell you something that's surprisingly good is chocolate chip pumpkin pancakes. Those are really good. If you've never had those before, you need to try a stack of those. So that's my recommendation. So National Pancake Day. Enjoy some
Okay.
pancakes tonight, everybody out there. Have fun with that. We also like to do one more thing, and that is we like to have a random question of the day. Now, listen, this question is so random. I haven't seen it yet. We let our producers do this every day. It could be funny. It could be serious. It could be a great question. It may be a dud. You never know. Let's go and see what it is. Today's random question of the day is, if you could swap lives with one famous person for a day, who would it be and why? Oh, I think we might have the same answer on this.
Absolutely, 100% Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan, really? Okay.
Absolutely. I'm a huge MJ fan. I always have been. When I was a kid, I like to tell people this, like all 4 of my walls in my room, all 4 walls had posters of Michael Jordan, and I ran out of space. So I started putting them on the ceiling. Then I ran out of space and started putting them on both sides of the doors. I mean, I was just a fanatic.
Were you getting the posters from the Wheaties boxes? Where are you getting the posters from?
Just everywhere. I mean, you could get them, back there then it wasn't online.
Right.
This is Walmart or whatever. They
Foot Locker.
Every time they came out with a new one, I was looking to get it.
Okay, so I have to ask then, are you somebody do you own some Jordans? Do you have some
Oh my gosh. Yeah, tons.
How many do you have?
I've actually I've got 50 or 60 pair, and a lot of them are golf shoes. Like, he started making golf shoes. Yeah. I'm a little embarrassed to admit that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that sounds like a bit of an addiction, but not too bad.
Yeah.
That guy makes more money now than he made when he was playing.
It's incredible. Well, that's the other reason I look up to him. Is like, he took everything that he had and just used his brand, and I mean, multiple businesses,
Yeah. So, I mean, it's unbelievable what he's able to do with that. So MJ, that's an interesting one. Okay. So would you want to go with modern day MJ, or maybe like back in the day MJ when he was playing?
I think modern day MJ, because he's chilling now. He's playing a lot of golf. Obviously, he's got Grove 23 down in Palm Beach, and he's got it made. That's if MJ, if you're listening, have me out to the course. I'll play you for a little cash.
That's right. That goes for both of us. I'll make the trip down there. We'll both do that. That'll be fun. So yours is MJ. I think that mine would probably be, I think it'd be Tiger Woods, because I would just want to be that good at golf and be able to kind of play the places that he's been. And of course, I've never been one who has not enjoyed cameras pointing my direction. So I think that modern day Tiger Woods would probably be my pick, but I would not be opposed to 1997 or 2000 Tiger Woods. Those were some pretty special years.
Absolutely.
Well. So, yeah, some good things there. So that's a good question. Not too bad of a random question. That was a good question. Good conversation on that.
Great question.
All right. So before we jump off here real quick, Brendon, what's the easiest way for people to learn about you and about EZLoader and get connected?
Yeah, sure. Just go to our website. It's check us out. Check out. Give us a call. I mean, you can do demos on our site. We got videos on our site, and we've got some exciting things happening this year. I can't really speak on it yet, but we've got something huge coming mid-year. And so we're going to do some releases on some new things. And so I'm super excited about that, super pumped. But yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on the show. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and glad to talk shop and of course, golf.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that things are going well for you guys. Always good to talk golf. The one round that we did play together, I was incredibly impressed with how you played. I was just trying to keep up. That was a lot of fun. I had a good time with that. We'll just have to have you back. I look forward to hitting you on the golf course, hitting you up on the golf course, and that'll be fun.
Me too. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Brendon. We'll see you soon, man. And for everybody else out there, listen, we're going to have another great show on Thursday. Can't wait for that. Make sure you come back 2:00 p.m. Central Time. We're going to have a great conversation with Sonny Catlett and talk about what he's doing at WLX in Kansas City. And, of course, don't forget about Friday noon. We're going to have that episode of Word on the Street with Paul Bernard, Jaroslawski, and a lot of great things coming your way. We will see you guys real soon. Until then, peace. Have a good day, everybody.